This is lesson 5, proportional relationships from a table. So today what we're going to do is we are going to learn how to determine whether a table is proportional or not. So what we are going to do for example 1 is we are going to find out how this is proportional and what we can do from that information. So example 1. A new self-serve frozen yogurt store opened this summer that sells its yogurt at a price based upon the total weight of the yogurt and its toppings in a dish. Each member of Isabel's family weighed his dish, and this is what they found. Determine if the cost is proportional to the weight. Whenever you're looking at a table that goes from left to right, the X value is normally on top and the Y value is on the bottom. So when we go to try and find the unit rate, remember, we have the Y value is always on top, the X value is on the bottom. So we need to divide these numbers. So we have 5 divided by 12.5, and that's going to equal 0.4. Then we have 4 divided by 10, which equals 0.4. Then we have 2 divided by 5, which equals 0.4. And last, we have 3.20 divided by 8, which also equals 0.4. All of these, because they are all the same number, they simplify to all the same number. Therefore, it is proportional. And it says, does anyone pay the same price? The answer is yes. Or sorry, does everyone? So the answer is yes. And it says, how do we know? And it's because they all simplify to the same number. It says, is the cost proportional to the weight? Yes. It says, label the weight with the variable X and the cost with the variable Y. Write an equation that would represent the cost of your yogurt given the weight. So it says cost equals, and remember that K, or that constant of proportionality, our unit rate, is times our weight. So it's 0.4 times the weight. So our equation then would be C equals 0.4 times W. The only difference that we did was change the letters. Instead of X and Y, we used C and W. That's all. If you prefer the X and Y, we can do that. It said, how did we find the Y value? We found the Y value, okay? We found the Y value by multiplying sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Okay, so now the rest, we also have to finish this table. So we need to find our answer when X is 15. Okay, and the way that we can do that here is if I take 15 and multiply times 0.4. And our answer then would be 6. So our answer here is 6. So now I can answer this question. Sorry, guys. So what I did was I multiplied 15 times 0.4, which is the unit rate. And got 6. Okay? So now, our next question, it says, in the back of the recipe book, a diagram provides easy conversions to use while cooking. So here we have, and unfortunately the book, it didn't copy over. Okay, so I'm going to put these numbers in. We have 0, 4, 8, 12, and 16. For our cups, we have 0, 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, and 2. So now remember, let's use this first. We're going to have X and we're going to have Y. So here, to find our unit rate, again, we're going to put Y over X. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to divide, again, to find our unit rate. We are going to divide 4 by 1/2. We are going to divide 8 by 1. We are going to divide 12 by 1 1/2. And then we are going to divide 16 by 2. Well, if I divide each of these, I am going to get 8 each time. Because they are all the same, we do have unit rate. Now, I am going to say something here. If they are not the same, the minute that you do not have the same across the board, the minute one number is not the same, you no longer have a proportional relationship, and therefore you can't do anything at all, okay? Because once you do not have a proportional relationship, you do not have a constant of proportionality, and you can no longer write an equation, okay? But because these are the same numbers, you can have a constant of proportionality, which is your unit rate, and you can write an equation, okay? So now, okay, it says, is the number of ounces proportion to the number of cups? Yes. Because all the ratios simplify to the same number. Okay. The next thing it says is write an equation that would represent the number of ounces given the number of cups. Well, that equation would be y equals 8x. The next thing it wants to know is how many ounces are in 4 cups, 5 cups, and 8 cups. Well, for 0 we have 0, for half we have 4, for 1 we have 8, for 1.5 we have 12, for 2 we have 16. We need 5. Oops, sorry. Wrong place. We need 4, 5, and 8. Well, remember, we can use our x here. So 8 times 4 is 32. So for 4 cups, we have 32 ounces. 8 times 5 is 40. So that's 40 ounces. And then 8 times 8 is 64 or 64 ounces. So next, we have during Josie's physical education class today, students visited activity stations. Next to each station was a chart depicting how many calories on average would be burned by completing the activity. Again, let me put these numbers in because they didn't come over. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And down below we have 0, 11, 22, 33, and 44. So the next question is the number of calories burned proportional to time, and how do we know? Well, we have to figure that out. So to figure that out, I have to check y over x, because here's our x, here's our y. So we have 11 over 1. Well, that's 11. We have 22 over 2. Well, that's 11. 33 over 3. That's 11. 44 over 4. And that's 11. So the answer is yes, because all the ratios simplify to the same number. It says if Josie jumped rope for 6.5 minutes, how many calories would he expect to burn? Well, here, if I multiply the 6.5 times the unit rate of 11, I would expect him to burn 71.5 calories. So in our lesson summary, the quantities in a table are proportional if the ratios simplify to the same number the equation that models a proportional relationship is y equals kx. I'm going to draw a table in here because it didn't come over. I do not know why. But if I put a table in here and put time and hours and distance in kilometers and put 0 and 1 and 10, 2 and 20, 3 and 30, 4 and 40. So now it says, is this relationship between distance and time proportional? So by checking this out, y over x, so 10 over 1 equals 10, 20 over 2 equals 10, 30 over 3 equals 10, 40 over 4 equals 10. So the answer is yes, because all the ratios simplify to the same number. It says write the equation that would represent the distance given the time. So y would equal 10x. And this ends our lesson.